Okay, thank you, Erica, for that archival edition episode of Tale Collector. And if you're a regular listener to Tale Collector, you might be wondering why we're a little off kilter here. It's 20 after the hour, and usually it runs from 2 to 2:15, and then followed on its heels by Tom Koehler's Story Time. But we are here because it is Pledge Drive week. And first we're going to ask Erica to explain. I asked her to pick a episode that she would like us to revisit again today, and I'm curious how she chose the one that she chose that we just heard.
Well,
oh, sorry.
Yeah, that marked the first episode that completely featured the music of Breon Morrison and Roxanne Berglund. And and that was also when I officially retired my original Amethystium theme.
Okay.
You know, much as I missed that, I wanted something a little more local.
Yeah, and they wrote that for you then.
Yes,
Nice.
They've been so kind to me. They make a lot of the music for my show. And also, Brian on the 9th, he just celebrated his 57th birthday.
All right.
So I wanted to, to honor them as well. And plus, Lives of the Monster Dogs is a very good novel that I would highly recommend as well.
Yeah, they were guests on Dave's Beat Farm one, at least once. It was a really good show.
Yeah, they have performed here before.
Yeah. So Pledge Week is what we're all about here, and we like listeners to have an opportunity to show their support. Or, of course, donations are welcome at any time, but we welcome both feedback and financial donations. And Pam, why don't you remind people of how they would make a donation if they felt so inclined?
Oh, my. If you're afoot or horseback or even going by motor vehicle, go to the corner of 7th and 7th in Two Harbors, and you find the landing building. Wander inside the landing building, and in the labyrinth of the inner passage, you will be led straight to the very studios of this station as we speak. We have trained individuals standing by to take your money, no matter how large or modest your contribution might be. If you are in the reach of a telephone, you can call 595-6195. That is a free local Two Harbors area call. If you're outside, it's area code 218. So that would be 218-595-6195. Again, trained operators standing by to take your call. If you have neither car nor phone, but you have your computational device with you, it would be KTWH.org. And links on that page will direct you how to give your money.
Right. There's a donate button, and on that page there's a button where you can find out about what premiums you're entitled to, depending on how much you can afford to donate to the cause. And Erica, what kind of premiums do we have?
All right, we got quite a few here. Let's see, a $4 donation or higher will get you a KTWH bumper sticker. Let's see, a $10 donation will get you a combination mini radio and a bright light. And the following premiums will include a mini radio and bumper sticker along with, each one I'm about to say. $25 or more will get you a stainless steel water bottle or it says 2017 mug, but I'm sure it's 2018, right?
Yeah, they're not dated, actually, so I don't know why we say that.
Okay.
It's a timeless mug.
Timeless mug. That's much better. I like it. Okay. Let's see. $40 will get you 2 stainless steel water bottles or coffee mugs. $60 will get you a KTWH Lake Superior blue T-shirt. $75 will get you a KTWH cap with Lake Superior blue embroidery on khaki. $100 will give you your choice of either a KTWH T-shirt and a KTWH cap, or 2 KTWH T-shirts. $120 will give you a choice of A, 2 KTWH T-shirts and a water bottle, B, 2 caps, or C, 1 shirt, 1 cap, and 1 water bottle. And the big one, $150, you'll get your choice of 2 T-shirts or caps, 2 water bottles or 2 mugs, and an on-air message of your choosing in compliance with the FCC rules and our mission statement. If you have any questions about that, you can call us or give us a buzz for more details.
Yeah, and on the website there's a contact page that will get an email to us if you type in your inquiries there. So Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Erica.
Yeah, and
Making your contributions even more valuable is the fact that this is a qualifying nonprofit organization, and if you are detail-oriented, you can deduct these contributions from your taxes. Even better, the value of the premiums in this particular case does not deduct from the value of your contribution.
Except in the case of the caps. I didn't mention that.
I stand corrected.
There is a small, if you gave $75 for a cap, I don't remember, it's $65 of it is deductible, something like that. But so, well, we're going to move on. So usually this hour is shared between Erica and Tom, and either that or or Tom gets it all, depending on who's in charge that day. No, Erica's program is produced once a month, and we do that on 2 Fridays and the following Sundays at another time. I forget what time on the repeat is on Sunday. Do you have that on
2:30.
At 2:30, okay.
2 o'clock and 2:30.
Okay, 2:30 on the following Sundays, and then Tom has the other 15 minutes of that block, and on those days when we air the Tale Collector, and then alternate weeks. Usually, it's Tom doing another reading of a longer nature that fills all or most of a half hour, or sometimes we have put in other readings of literature as well. But today we have a special file that Tom has brought. It's actually a story about himself. And you want to tell us just a little bit about that, Tom? And then we should launch it pretty soon, but we can talk with you more a little bit after that.
Very good. I am hoping that some of our listeners are younger ones who maybe are reluctant to do things for fear of being embarrassed. This is proof that embarrassment, although it's instructive, is not fatal or damaging to the self. It has, in fact, made me almost immune to the ill effects of embarrassment.
All right. A good lesson. I think many of us are learning this here on the radio.
Be bold. Say it like you mean it.
Okay.
Well said.
So we'll hear Tom with his personal story this time.
I'll tell you a little story about myself. It's one of embarrassment and what it can or cannot do. I think that because of this particular episode in my life, it is harder for me to be embarrassed, and if I am, I know that I will not fall through the earth. This happened to me in my junior year in high school at the Minneapolis Vocational High School and Technical Institute. It was a public school in the city of Minneapolis a half-century ago. It was a trade school. High school students could go there if they had applied to the school for admission and get an excellent training in any of several different skilled trades that were commonly practiced in the U.S. at that time. My field was electricity. I was trained as an electrician, house wiring, motor repair, motor control, appliance repair, that sort of thing. In any case, I was a real grind in school and got really good grades. As a result of that, I was elected to the National Honor Society. We had an induction ceremony which was full of pomp and circumstance and organ music and long flowing purple robes and the whole thing. This was something because it was a trade school. Students were not generally someone who would be going to college, and recognition of good grades was an important thing in this school. We even had a rehearsal in our auditorium before the actual ceremony to make sure that we got everything just right. The enrollment at that school was a little over 1,000 students. This was grades 10, 11, and 12. We also had some postgraduate students who would take these same trade courses that we did as high school students. This was not to be confused with Dunwoody, a private school. So the way this works, we had a beautiful large auditorium, and it had an aisle down the left and an aisle down the right, so there were seating sections left, right, and middle. We also had an excellent large theatrical concert-type organ down in the orchestra pit, and a student who was an excellent organist, and he would provide the proper music and atmosphere for the ceremony. The stage was dressed out in the black set of curtains, lighting appropriately set, a good carbon arc follow spot for singling out the speaker at the podium or the microphone or wherever. Chairs are set up on the stage, one for each student who's in the Honor Society, whether sitting members or new. And so the music begins. The parents of the inductees are seated in the front of the auditorium as well. We had the Corps of Honor Society students divided into two groups, one marching down the left aisle, the other marching down the right aisle. They would approach the stage and ascend simultaneously from either side and go toward the center of the stage in front of their respective chairs, which were unmarked, and wait until all of the Honor Society members are present on stage in front of their chairs, and then they would sit down in unison. I was bringing up the very end, going down the right-hand aisle, which would be stage left. Stage left means that's the left side of the stage in the reference point of those who are on the stage. So stage left is actually the right side of the stage if you're looking at it from the audience. I digress. Back to the action. We march solemnly down the aisles, up the steps, and on to the stage. And as I said, I'm an honor student, and I can tell that the first student on my side stopped in front of the wrong chair. As I get up to the stage, I can see that there will be no chair for me to sit on. And as I am the last person on the stage, that will be the cue for everyone to sit. My mind is racing, and I am not sure what to do. I am torn between two choices. Stand there while all of the others are seated, or go into a squat so as not to stand out from the rest of the group. I chose to go into a squat as if I were sitting. So I get up to the stage, stand in front of my non-existent chair, which no one else notices apparently, turn around, face the audience, and one beat later we all sit and I squat. And there's silence. And soon there's some chortling, then some mild laughter, and it spreads through the auditorium like contagion, and the laughter fills the auditorium. There is nothing else that can be heard but laughter. Now, one of the officials on the stage was our assistant principal. He was also the dean of students and the one in charge of discipline for the school. His secret superpower, aside from his height, were his two large, bushy, animated, gray eyebrows perched atop his glasses. They could convey emotion and accent it without him saying a word. An entire speech could be given from his face and his eyebrows without a word being spoken. And this time, he stood up and looked around, the expression on his face saying, "Who dares profane this august ceremony?" He looked, and finally he noticed an empty chair in the middle and me squatting on stage left. Soundlessly, he waved his arms and flailed them off stage right to the stage crew. "Someone, get a chair on the stage for this person." A friend of mine on the stage crew grabs a chair, goes around behind the cyclorama, which shielded the back of the stage from the sight of the audience, and he emerges from the curtains, stage left, carrying a chair for me to sit on. At that very moment, the seated Honor Society members stood up like a caterpillar, moved over one chair, and sat down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. And finally it came to my turn now what to do. Take the seat that I am supposed to sit in, or the one which was carried out for me. I chose the chair which was appointed for me. The stagehand obligingly carried the unnecessary chair back off stage left behind the curtains, and the audience erupted in another wave of laughter, which lasted for a minute or two, perhaps an eternity, I'm not sure which. And finally things quieted down, and the ceremony proceeded as it was rehearsed. Afterwards, a number of people slapped me on the back, smiling, and said, "Tom, that was the best ceremony I've ever seen. Thank you." I never heard from the assistant principal regarding this episode, nor from any of the other higher-ranking officials in the school. But throughout the day, I was warmly greeted, and I have learned from that episode that although embarrassment can turn your face pink and raise your internal temperature, it's generally not going to kill you. And if you take it openly and wholeheartedly and earnestly and face it with a smile, it's not the end of the world.
Yay, Tom. That was great.
I swear you were one of the best storytellers I've ever heard.
Oh, shucks.
That was great. I think it gave you a bug for stage performance, actually.
It may have, although it did gird me for other moments of mass embarrassment in the following years, and I came through it. Mm-hmm. And so for all who are listening, do not fear embarrassment. Do not embrace it, but do not fear it.
Yeah.
It soon passes, and there you are.
Good lesson.
Amen.
Yeah. So tell us a little more about about what you read and how you choose it.
Well, if you do something that's copyrighted, you owe something to the owner of that copyright. Since our station is on a shoestring, half a shoestring actually, a frayed one at that, I choose material that's in the public domain. And occasionally I find something that I can secure permission for and perform that gladly. In choosing material that's in the public domain, I go for things which appeal to my own particular taste, but I have to be careful to the sensibilities of others who might not be wired the same way that I am. A classic would be the stories from Mark Twain. We're familiar with much of his material, but a shorthand classic would be stories coming from the Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, language which was used without any exceptional raised eyebrows or attitudes at the time would be frowned on extremely today, and so I do not choose stories that are like that. There are others that might occasionally use racial epithets which were unexceptional in the dominant white culture of a century or even a half century in the past. I try to avoid those if I can. If that's the short of it.
Yeah. Great. Well, so as your promo says, they're stories for adults, but that doesn't mean they're X-rated stories or anything.
Right. Well, actually, the way I say it, it's stories for grown-ups, because if you say they're adult stories, well, there is a connotation there which I wanted to avoid. So it's stories for grown-ups.
Perfect.
Although younger people can profit by them as well. Not in every case, but often.
Right. So that's the one of the beauties of community radio is that Tom is a very local person who totally chooses for himself what he's going to air, as long as it's FCC compliant, which there's never been an issue. But and that's the beauty of community radio as a whole. It's all locally driven, and we make all our own decisions. There's no network headquarters or commercial underwriters. We have underwriters, but not advertisers that might try to exert any influence over our content. We just have businesses that support what we're doing and make some contributions. But the only decision making that goes into it comes from the participants, and that's the community. And so we want to be sure this keeps alive and going, and we do have expenses, even though we're all of the on-air voices are volunteer. We have 2 very part-time employees that keep things running smoothly, but their on-air time is not paid. It's Michelle Anderson does a morning show on Tuesdays and makes a valuable contribution with her volunteer time, as well as is a part-time employee to keep the logs in order and keep us all lined up, our ducks in a row. But besides the very little bit of overhead for paying our employees, we've got rent, insurance, performance rights, equipment, organization memberships, so on and so forth. And so that's what we are seeking donations for. And once again, Tom, how do they make those donations?
Oh, call 218-595-6195. Go online at ktwh.org, or as we say in the business, org, and look for the appropriate donation link on the website page there. If you're afoot, you can come right down to the fabled landing building. Go past the temptations of great food and adult beverages and find your way to the studio proper.
Right. And then it doesn't hurt to go and patronize those businesses as well, but we should be your first priority, and then with whatever's left over.
Yes. I might encourage you that for the price of one adult beverage per month, you could make a significant contribution over a year's time to this station, and at that rate, it wouldn't even hurt.
And you can do it in just that fashion, because we have the sustaining memberships are as little as $5 a month will be automatically taken through PayPal or through one of the local credit unions. If you're a member of Two Harbors Federal Credit Union, you can have it just directly transferred from your account to ours with no loss of commission or anything else. We get the full amount.